As far as we know, we only live once. And if you are in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, you have almost a responsibility to yourself to find a way to your preferred future and to feel excellent in the present, feel focused, feel like you're going in the right direction. And it takes such a huge mental load off professionals when they have a career plan in place. Hi, I'm Renata Bernardi, and this is the Job Hunting Podcast, where I interview experts and professionals and discuss issues that are important for job hunters and those who are working to advance their careers. So make sure that you subscribe and follow, and let's dive right in. Hello everyone. In this episode, we are going to talk about how to get the job you want and bring your dream career to life. This is in fact the title of my brand new free job hunting masterclass, which I am hoping all of you will register to attend. It's happening on the 3rd of August here in Melbourne, Australia. So it could be the 2nd of August wherever you are in the world. And the best way to make sure that you are available and you can attend is to go to my website, renatabernardi.com. There's a link to it in the episode show notes. Now, I only do these free masterclasses a couple of times a year. My hope is to do the job hunting masterclass twice a year, and the timing of them is really strategic. So it's not like randomly selected. I do them at the beginning of August for a reason. And I also do one in February. And it's because, it's a few months before the end of the year. And if you are keen to find a new job, and if you are keen to make better strategic plans for your career, I find that August is a great time. In many countries like Australia, it's the beginning of a new financial year. But in other countries, it's kind of moving towards the end of the financial year, at the end of the year. So those two sort of economic factors and the employer side of things means that there are more opportunities that come up between, I believe, August and beginning of December. And then again from February to June. July, I find, is a bit of a dead month. And sometimes people think because we're in lockdown at the moment that it's COVID related. Here in Melbourne and most of Australia is under lockdown. And when people call me and say, oh, COVID is screwing my plans, there's nothing available in July, it's not really just COVID. July is always kind of in my perspective, an interesting month. In some countries it's summer and nobody's really doing anything. So August is a great time to kickstart those plans. So I want you to have a listen today, because I'm going to give you some idea of what the masterclass is, but also if you can't attend, you might just want to have a listen and see if you can get some information today that will be available and important to you in this podcast. Now, podcasts have a long pipeline. So if you're listening to this and it's not July 2021 anymore, then don't feel bad. I will have the job hunting masterclasses, as I said, a couple of times a year, and you can attend some other time. And the best way for you to find out when I'm running the masterclasses is to subscribe to my newsletter. There's a link to that below as well if you're listening to this after August 2021. Okay, so there are other opportunities. The newsletter is a weekly newsletter. It comes out every Tuesday morning here in Australia, and it has the new episode of the Job Hunting Masterclass, news from me, like things like, there's a masterclass, yada yada. I also am often asked to speak at events, so I let people know where I'll be if you want to, see me talk about job hunting. And I also share important articles and news that are, I think, very important for professionals in the corporate, nonprofit, and government sectors if they are career driven and they are enthusiastic about their career progression. I think those are articles that I select them very carefully for you. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about how to get the job you want and bring your dream career to life. I love this title, and this title came to me not from my head. It's you know, people that reach out to me, answer my surveys, my clients, past group coaching clients. These are words that I always, I am bombarded with, when I ask, what is it that you want? But the other words that I also get, and they're very common in the answers to my surveys, are things like, worrying about your future, not getting interviews, getting anxious, not finding the energy to go through recruitment and selection process, not having a clue where to start, and wishing that you can start over. So those are words that are very, very common for job hunters and people that feel that they are stuck in their career, stuck in a bad job, or have tried a job hunt in the past and couldn't get through and convert to a new job. So this masterclass will address all of those issues and really, especially the myths. So I want to tell you about what happened to me last week. I have a sports coach now because I have very bad knees, and this person is now helping me recover. So I'm getting my knees injected with hyaluronic acid. I've had them MRI'd, scanned, like the whole shebang, and they're really in poor form. And I went to see him for the first time, and we had a 1.5-hour session. I'm seeing him again next week. I'm very excited about having somebody who is going to help me fix my knees. And after I explained to him what was happening to me, he said, "Thank you for not self-diagnosing." And I thought this was really funny and interesting because it's very common for people to self-diagnose. If they have something, they probably would go to him and say, "Oh, you need to fix my knees," or, you need to, work on this muscle here. When in fact, what I had to give him and what I did give him was all of the information and the facts that I had. I can't walk. This is where it hurts. This is how I feel when I wake up. This is how I feel during the day. So I gave him all the factual information so that he could diagnose me. And I get that as well as a coach. People come to me and say, "I need you to fix my resume because I'm not getting any job interviews," or "I need you to help me practice for my interview questions because I'm not converting." Those are, you're self-diagnosing what the problem is. And you're creating all these myths, and people put things like resumes in a pedestal, and they forget that that's really not just what helps you get a job. There are so many things that happen before and after the creation of a resume that are way more important than the resume itself. So all of those myths that are holding you back and really blinding you from the realities of understanding what recruitment and selection entails and how to do it better and quicker and faster and smarter. I love really running these masterclasses so that I can educate and make my followers understand what it actually means to create a resume that converts, and that resume is really just the tipping point. There are things that happen before and after that are, if not more important, but just as important as the resume itself. So that's just one of the myths, and there will be more myths to uncover and overcome misconceptions when you attend the masterclass. So I hope you do. Then, I'd like to talk about the importance of understanding what it takes to transfer sectors. And I am obsessed with this at the moment because, of course, the pandemic created a disruption in many sectors. Some sectors have disappeared and other sectors are booming. And so many professionals need to learn fast how to successfully transfer their skills to a new industry, to a new career. And when they do it themselves, if they don't have this information that I'm going to share in the masterclass, what happens is a lot of copy pasting, a lot of generic words, a lot of people presenting themselves as a generalist because they believe that will transfer their skills better. A lot of people using exactly the same templates as others. So you go to LinkedIn profiles and they all look the same. Everybody's using the same keywords, the same jargons, the same way of explaining their experience because they're trying to be more accepted by sectors that they don't have a lot of previous experience in. So that is a huge problem that I see, and I'd like to address that with you in this masterclass. So this is really important, especially now more than ever. Transferring sectors has always been an issue, right? So it's not something new, but it's just exacerbated by the COVID-19 pandemic and what it has done to some industries. So let's look at that at the masterclass. And then I'd love to talk about networking because, like half of the country here is under lockdown, and I don't want professionals to use the lockdown as an excuse to postpone important conversations. There are ways that you can do that, but also because if networking is not something that you do naturally or you're naturally inclined to do, you will find any excuse to postpone it and to procrastinate on this and think, oh, okay, it's locked down, everybody's at home, I might as well just continuously apply for jobs because that's the only thing I can do. Well, that is definitely not true. And I want to discuss in the masterclass how you can adapt it to your personality, how you can adapt it to the lockdown mode that many countries around the world keep going back to. There are no excuses to not do networking during these circumstances. But you know what? Sometimes I do let my clients off the hook if they are not comfortable networking. And I want to tell you when I actually let them off the hook. And it's a compromise, and we agree on things, and they feel more comfortable because they don't feel pressured to do the networking that they are so not inclined to do. So we can discuss that at the masterclass as well, and I really look forward to sharing that information with you. And then I like to make sure that I'm obsessed with helping you have your best career. Whatever that best career looks to you, your version of a best career, not my version, not, the version that you believe is expected of you. I want you to find what it is that makes you tick, that makes you motivated. As far as we know, we only live once. And if you are in your 30s, in your 40s, in your 50s, you have almost a responsibility to yourself to find a way to your preferred future and to feel excellent in the present, feel focused, feel like you're going in the right direction. And it takes such a huge mental load off professionals when they have a career plan in place, right? Instead of having all of these thoughts and concerns clouding their brain and constantly upsetting you when you're about to go to bed or when you're having a shower, when you're walking your dog, you're thinking about it, and then you avoid it as much as you can because it makes you uncomfortable. Well, you don't have to live like that. I really want this masterclass to help you understand the importance of gaining that focus. And, having templates that I can give you or that you can create yourself, because it will equip you with tools and resources to then make that job hunt or anything really that you're doing in your professional career easier to do. There are so many things that we do on our day-to-day jobs that is so repetitive. And I have a few templates to help you with career advancement, right? And also the importance of having and giving yourself permission to engage expert support. I have a client who, I'm so excited for her. She has done a series of consultations with me. She wasn't getting any offers for quite a while. And then all of a sudden, she started getting all of these amazing offers, and she ended up with 2 amazing job offers. And she's starting work now, and she's already engaging me to, be her coach. And she's considering if she should engage me for 6 months or 12 months. And not many clients would engage me for 12 months, in fact, and that's not very common. And I don't think, you need to do that. If you're listening and you're worried, don't worry. I'm not trying to sell you that, but she has a very big job. It's a very big responsibility. It's a big jump. It's a different area that she's not entirely familiar with. And she's like, oh, am I crazy that I want 12 months of coaching? And I'm like, no, you're not crazy that you want 12 months of coaching. Many successful leaders have coaches as retainers. It's very lonely at the top. It's great to have that time during the month to brainstorm ideas with somebody that's not going to judge you, that's not going to make things harder for you at work. If you, let's say, you decide to open up about your vulnerabilities or your issues or your concerns with your boss or with a colleague, you're always worried about making a career limiting move. You're always worried about whatever, that it may impact you. So you're not true to yourself and you're not open enough. And that's why so many great leaders have coaches. That's why all sports people have coaches and so on. So no, it's not crazy that you want to sign me up for 12 months. Let's do it. So you don't have to. The great thing about my platform is it's very democratic. There's lots of different ways of engaging me. And in fact, the podcast is free. So as long as you find the time, and this is another episode of the Job Hunting Podcast that's coming next week, right? Time. Just remember that word. I want you to listen to the episode next week, which is about finding time and how important is time for anybody that wants to succeed in their careers. Then, of course, who is this masterclass for? Well, basically, this masterclass is for you if you're listening to this podcast, right? This podcast was designed to help professionals that are in the corporate, nonprofit, and government sectors to progress in their careers. Sometimes I get a doctor calling me. Sometimes I get, somebody from a completely different area calling me for advice. And they say that they listen to the podcast and it helps them. And I'm glad. But this podcast is for people that are white collar workers that used to work in, offices that are probably now working from home or doing some sort of blend between home and office. And this podcast is for you. This podcast is also for professionals with already quite an experienced career of 10, 15 years of work experience. So, if you are younger than that, I consider you a rising star. I'm so glad that you found this podcast and that you're listening. I know that there is a group of students at Macquarie University that listen to my podcast. Shout out to you guys. And I believe there may be many others that do too. Of course, you can attend the masterclass. The earlier you understand how to manage your career now and in the future, the better it will be for you. I wish I had this sort of understanding earlier on. So, of course, you can come. But the podcast and the masterclass is really designed for people that are in middle management roles, project management roles, that are in that sort of transition between being an individual contributor to a manager, a team manager, a leader of an organization, a department, a team, or a project. So if you find yourself in sort of that kind of situation, then this masterclass is definitely for you. Maybe you're not looking for a job right now, but if you have time, come in and watch the masterclass live with me, because it could be that, you might find yourself in a situation in the near future where you will need to. God knows I've been surprised when I was made redundant back in 2018, right? So you never know, and it's better to have that information. And you know what? If you can't attend live on the 3rd, register anyway. I'll send you a link to the recording of that podcast, and it's available for an additional 2 weeks, I think, the recording. So you have, that 2 week period where you can watch it at your own time whenever you want. So that's that. And I have had great results from people that have watched the masterclass in the past. If you go to the landing page to register, you will see the testimonials from people that did it on the February 2021 I could have gone back and found more. In fact, because I've also ran this in 2020 as well. Maybe I will add more. I have 3 there for you to look at, from Chris, Vanessa, and Susie, what they thought of the masterclass and how it helped them, how it has paid off, the advice that I gave. So have a read on the landing page. And then, of course, some of my great sort of friends in this profession, great collaborators, have written testimonials about my work, and I know that they're sharing the masterclass on LinkedIn, and I'm really, really proud to have so many great colleagues, fellow coaches and recruiters that support what I do for you, because I think that we need more collaboration between recruiters, job hunters, employers, coaches, to make life better for the candidate. I think that it's a very lonely pursuit to engage in job hunting and career advancement. And I don't want that to be like that. There's a lack of knowledge and understanding of what it takes to get the job you want. And I am here to fill that gap for you. So, of course, I really, 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 really want you to come and attend the job hunting masterclass on the 3rd of August. There are 2 times available and you can choose. And as I said, if you can't attend, don't worry. I will send you a link of the recording and you can watch for the next 2 weeks after the 3rd of August. It will be available for you. Okay? So yes, the next episode will be about time and how I think time is important for job hunters. That's coming up next week. So watch and listen to that one when you have a minute, and contact me if there's anything that I can do to help you in your career at this time. Ciao for now.